What are the 5 biggest mistakes authors make when writing their books?
5. Wow. Okay. The 5 biggest mistakes that an author makes when writing their book. Okay. I think we touched on this before, but I'll highlight it again, is not having enough editors or the right editors to go through it. I think expectations, and sometimes having unrealistic expectations, can hinder them. If the author is writing that piece of literary fiction with the idea that they're going to become a New York Times best-selling author, first book out of the gate, and become a millionaire, I don't know. Oftentimes I say if money is the motivation for an author, very similar to a lot of creatives. You know, if you want to make money, then maybe you should go into investment banking. Maybe being an author isn't for you because it's really hard to make it. So having expectations that are real matter a lot. Thinking about one's author brand, I'm going to say, is number 3. Branding for a lot of authors and people in general, I think, feels a little bit ethereal, a little fluffy and intangible. It's logo design and color palettes and things. I tend to look at it as being, what's your core message? If you're going to stand on a mountain and scream something that you know the world is going to hear, what is it? It's drilling it down, it's log lining it, elevator pitching it, whatever you want to call it, so that you have a clear, defined message to get out there and really focusing on what that brand is. I think another mistake authors make is not having a website. Websites give you the ability, unless something terrible goes wrong and your web developer loses your hosting or something like that, but you should control that. That's a whole nother conversation. But a website is going to give you the ability to be seen by your readers, to be seen by media and press. It establishes your credibility and your authority in that space. And social media is also great. And I'll add that as my number 5 here, with the caveat of being aware that social media can come and go. For example, are we TikToking now or not? You know, we were and then we weren't. But for a hot second, we realized what might happen if TikTok, Book Talk, went away. And that became huge for a lot of authors and a lot of book reviewers, etc. So there's the saying, don't build on rented land. If you have a big, huge following on a social media platform, what happens when that goes away? What happens when a millionaire decides to buy that social media platform and it's just not the same space it used to be? And your readers, your tribe, the people that you want to relate to aren't there. But a website gives you the ability to do all that. And I don't know if we're on 5.5, maybe 6. I also do suggest having some sort of email marketing strategy. I think it's still one of the most powerful types of marketing for an author. I think it's one of the things that authors are afraid of the most because it does take a lot of work. Nowadays, you can also use Substack, so I'll kind of throw Substack in there. There's Discord too. Again, find the place where you feel comfortable. And even if it's just using the free version of MailChimp, or something that is going to get you up and going, you're going to start building your community. And then you can do all sorts of fun stuff when you have those email lists. You can actually use them for your email, your digital marketing down the road. So I think that 5.5 or maybe 6, if you allow me to put an extra one in there, is going to be your email marketing.
So you don't feel that websites will be obsolete in the near future, that they are relevant to have as a central brand message?
It still is relevant. When somebody wants to interview an author, and I've had it happen before, they're going to go to Google, or maybe they'll ask their AI assistant or whatever. However they're doing it, they're going to access and look for that information online. So having your own website that populates on the first page of a Google result, the SERP, the search engine results page, is still really important. And having it look professional and polished. You are judged, just like your book cover is probably being judged by folks. The look and the feel of your website, if it looks professional and polished, the person that could potentially interview you on their podcast or invite you onto their radio show, the reader who's deciding if they're going to pick up your book and they see, something that looks, it's grabbing their imagination because they love fantasy and you've got dragons and magical swirls all over the place. So it gives your brand a place to live. It also gives you the ability to have an integrated marketing approach. I mentioned your email marketing before, but you're going to want to have an API basically connecting your website, a sign-up form, to your MailerLite or your MailChimp or whatever, email platform of the week you might be using. But having it there and basically establishing it, making sure you have full control of it, I don't think that's going away anytime soon.
I like how you say full control, so that if, you have the keys to your hosting, basically. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll go down the website rabbit hole just a little bit, because sometimes authors don't even know what's the difference between hosting and my domain name, and should I have them all in one place? How does that work? And oftentimes they will go to a website designer or developer, and I've seen it happen so many times, where that person then has full control. Or they'll resell the hosting. And I guess if you want to and it's easier, they're really just being a middle person at that point. If they're a website developer and they're reselling hosting, they just buy a whole block of hosting and they parse it out to all of their clients. You can cut out that middle person. You might need to set up like a Gmail account or some kind of special account so that you get notices, so you don't let the payments for your hosting go away. Same thing with your domain names. Have the control. So if somebody does develop your website for you and they're doing all of these things, make sure you always have access. Make sure you have your own credentials. Make sure you have your website backed up. You can do that with Google Docs. There's a short list of things that I always suggest that an author does so that they don't lose control of their website.
What are some common questions you get from authors about retaining a publicist?
A lot of times they want to know how many interviews or articles they can expect to get. They want to know what to expect when doing the interviews. One of the things I like to do is coach them. I generally like to dig into their brand, their message, and find out what the talking points are so that they, as the author, are prepared to speak about it, as well as the show, the host, the producer that they're going to be with, so that they know where that interview is going to go. Another thing that a lot of them like to know is just some brass tacks things. How can I use this to my advantage? What can I do with these interviews once I get them? Should I put them on my social media? Yes, of course you should. Can I share them on my website? Can I link to them and do shout outs with other authors when I'm doing these interviews? And I say yes to all of those things, and I like to have a nice comprehensive strategy when it comes to an author who's doing their interviews and getting their PR.